Cancer, this nodal shift is about to get deep. This is going to be emotional, and honestly, this could be one of the most transformative cycles you move through in a long time. With the North Node moving into Aquarius and the South Node moving into Leo, the universe is asking you to look at what makes you feel safe. What have you been holding on to? And where are you being called to surrender, trust, and transform? So if you're a Cancer rising, this is especially for you. However, Cancer sun and Cancer moon, it may also resonate with you as well on some of these themes. But for Cancer rising, we're looking at the whole sign house system, which will place the North Node in Aquarius in your 8th house and South Node in Leo in your 2nd house. And that means this cycle is going to bring up major lessons around your money, self-worth, your intimacy, vulnerability, healing, trust, shared resources, and personal rebirth. Before we get into this message, please subscribe, share, like, and comment. All of that does help push this content out to others looking for the same content you are. So in advance, I thank you. So now let's talk about what this nodal shift really means for you. The big question for Cancer is, are you building a life around what you own, or are you building it around who you're becoming? First, let's quickly break down the lunar nodes. So the lunar nodes are not planets. They're mathematical points in astrology that show the direction of your soul growth. The South Node shows what feels familiar. It represents old patterns, comfort zones, natural talents, and habits we may rely on too much. The North Node shows where we are growing. It points toward the energy we are learning to develop, even if it feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, or challenging at first. Your North Node in Aquarius moving through the 8th house, which is one of the deepest houses in astrology. This house deals with transformation, intimacy, shared finances, your investments, debt, inheritance, your emotional healing, trauma recovery, trust, vulnerability, and spiritual rebirth. Aquarius brings more objective, innovative, and future-focused energy into these areas. So instead of staying stuck in old emotional patterns, you're being asked to look at your life from a higher perspective and ask, what needs to change so I can actually evolve? Your South Node moving through the 2nd house of personal income, savings, possessions, material security, values, talents, comfort, and self-worth. Now, this does not mean money is bad. It does not mean stability is bad. And it does not mean you should stop caring about your finances or your comfort. Not at all. What it does mean is that the universe is asking you to notice where your sense of safety has become too tied to what you own, what you earn, what you control, or how secure things look on the outside. So one of the biggest lessons of the South Node in Leo in your second house is learning not to confuse net worth with self-worth. So you may notice thoughts coming up like, I feel successful when I make more money, or I'll finally relax once I have enough saved, or my value depends on what I can provide for other people. But Cancer, this cycle is here to remind you that your worth is not something you earn. It is not something you prove. And it is not something that disappears when life feels uncertain. So, Cancer energy naturally wants to feel safe. This is one of your gifts. You know how to create comfort. You protect what matters and build emotional home for yourself and for the people you love. But the South Node in the second house, you may be tempted to control every outcome, every dollar, every decision, and every detail because uncertainty feels too uncomfortable. This cycle teaches you true security is not about controlling everything. True security is knowing that even when life changes, you can adapt, you can heal, and you can rebuild. Because the North Node moving through your 8th house, shared resources become a major growth area. This can include investments, debt, taxes, inheritances, business partnerships, loans, or combining resources with another person. And for some Cancers, this may feel vulnerable. You may be used to doing things alone, managing your own money, relying on yourself, and keeping your financial life very private. But this nodal cycle encourages healthy interdependence, not dependence, not giving your power away, but learning when it feels safe and wise to collaborate, receive support, and build something stronger with the right people. Another big theme here is vulnerability. The South Node in the second house can make you want to stay self-contained. So you may think, I can handle everything myself. Then no one can disappoint me. But the 8th house asks for deeper honesty. It asks for emotional intimacy. It asks you to let trusted people see the parts of you that you usually keep hidden. That does not mean opening up to everyone. It means learning discernment. Who has earned access to your inner world? Who meets your consistency, respect, and emotional maturity? This is where real intimacy begins, not through performance, not through control, but through trust. Cancer often finds safety in what is familiar. Familiar routines, familiar people, familiar environments, familiar ways of protecting your heart. And there is nothing wrong with comfort. During this cycle, comfort cannot be the reason you stop growing. It's something, if something is changing, ending, or evolving, you have to try asking yourself, is this falling apart, or is it making room for something more aligned? Now let's talk about the North Node in Aquarius in your 8th house, because this is where the real growth begins. The eighth house is not always easy, but it is powerful. It brings you face to face with the deeper layers of life. So, emotional truth, psychological healing, energetic bonds, shared finances, endings, beginnings, and transformation. So, one of your biggest lessons is learning that strength is not found in never ending needing everyone and never needing anybody. Strength is found in knowing who is safe, who is honest, and who is worthy of your trust. So, this could show up in romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, family dynamics, or even your relationship with your professionals who help you manage money, healing, or major life decisions. The point is not to trust blindly. The point is to stop assuming that safety only exists when you are in complete control. This is a very powerful time for emotional healing. So, therapy, shadow work, trauma recovery, inner child work, spiritual practices, meditation, energy healing, and emotional release can all become especially meaningful during this transit. Old fears may come to the surface, but they're not here to punish you. They're here. They are coming up because you're ready to understand them a little differently. So you may start seeing patterns that have been passed down through family, relationships, survival strategies, or past versions of yourself. And once you see the pattern clearly, you can begin to choose something new. Aquarius brings a future-focused energy in your eighth house. So instead of looking at change as something threatening, this cycle asks you to look at change as information. So when something shifts, ask yourself, what is this change making possible? That question alone can help you move from fear to curiosity. Because the eighth house rules shared wealth, this is a strong cycle for learning more about investing, retirement planning, taxes, estate planning, debt management, business partnerships, and long-term financial strategy. Again, the goal is not to hand your power over to somebody else. The goal is wise collaboration. It is learning when the right partnership, advisor, or support system can help you grow beyond what you could do alone. What is the change making possible? Many of the opportunities that arrive during this cycle may come disguised as endings or unexpected shifts. The eighth house is naturally connected to the mysteries of life, psychology, astrology, spirituality, human behavior, energy healing, meditation, ancient wisdom, and personal transformation may become much more interesting during this time. It is an excellent time to learn about being open-minded, staying open-minded. You do not have to believe everything immediately. Just stay curious. Let yourself explore new frameworks that help you understand yourself and others more deeply. The cycle is not asking you to abandon your boundaries. In fact, healthy boundaries are part of the lesson. But instead of asking, how do I protect myself from feeling anything? Begin asking, how can I show up honestly while still honoring my emotional limits? This is the balance. Open enough to be real and have enough boundaries to feel safe. So when it comes to relationships, this transit is not about collecting more people around you. It's about going deeper with the people who truly matter. Your surface level connections may start to feel less satisfying, and you may find yourself craving honesty, loyalty, emotional maturity, and relationships where both people are willing to grow. Some relationships may naturally fade if they're built on control, fear, insecurity, or emotional imbalance. Other relationships may deepen in a powerful way, especially when there is trust, transparency, and mutual respect. So pay attention to who feels safe, who feels aligned, and who is willing to meet you beneath the surface. Career-wise, this transit can support work connected to finance, investing, banking, insurance, psychology, counseling, coaching, research, healthcare, crisis management, healing professions, investigative work, or transformational leadership. You may also benefit from business partnerships or collaborative ventures, especially if they feel aligned with your long-term goals and allow you to build something meaningful with others. Financially, this is a time to become more informed, more strategic, and more willing to look at the bigger picture. That may mean learning about investments, cleaning up debt, planning for the future, or having honest conversations about shared money. And remember, Cancer, asking for guidance does not make you weak. It can actually be one of the most empowered choices you can make. Others may deepen in remarkable ways. The deeper spiritual lesson of the nodal cycle is that transformation is not something to fear. It is the process that reveals who you're becoming. The South Node in Leo in your second house reminds you not to confuse professions with peace, money with worth, or control with safety. The North Node in Aquarius in your 8th house teaches you that real security comes from your ability to adapt, heal, trust, evolve, and connect with others in meaningful ways. This is not about losing yourself in other people. It is about realizing that you do not have to carry everything alone. It is the process through which you become more fully yourself. The South Node reminds you not to confuse possessions with peace or control with security. The North Node teaches you that genuine security comes from trusting your ability to adapt, heal, and build meaningful connections with others. Cancer, this is your invitation to evolve from protecting what you have into becoming who you are meant to be. The South Node in Leo asks you to release fear-based attachment to material security excessive self-reliance, resistance to vulnerability, and the belief that your value depends on what you own or control. The North Node in Aquarius invites you to embrace transformation, deepen relationships, heal old emotional wounds, build healthier financial partnerships, explore life's deeper mysteries, and trust the process of personal rebirth. By the end of this cycle, you may realize that the greatest strength was never found in avoiding change. It was found in allowing change to transform you into someone wiser, more resilient, more deeply connected to yourself and to people who truly matter. So if you found this to be helpful and useful, please be sure to share, like, subscribe. All that does help the channel to grow. And again, it does help this content get out to others looking for the same information. So until the next time, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.